What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're going to go ahead and break down the classes to register for this upcoming spring 2025. If you're joining, it's your first time on these calls. My name is Coach Tony, former UC Berkeley admissions reader, former UCLA director, founder of high school. I've been helping high school students and families with their college admissions process for the last 16 years now. And in doing so, you learn a thing or two about what it takes to get our students in. And our students have pretty much gone to all the schools you can think of, all the UCs, all the privates, all the Ivies. We pretty much send kids every single where. And it's because it's a few simple frameworks that we teach and we kind of just help our students kind of implement into their schedule. So in this training, we're going to go ahead at the time of this recording. This is like towards the end of the fall semester. So we are about to gear up and get ready for the spring semester. So if you're a high school student getting ready for classes in the spring, you are in the right place. We are going live right now. So those watching in the future, hello from the past. But those who are here live, can you guys go ahead and drop a hi in the chat? Let me know what grade is everyone here so I can kind of say hi to you guys here in the chat. In the chat, go ahead and drop your grade. So we know 9, 10, 11, 12. This grade is actually good for all four of the grades here today. Fantastic. We got a good little mix here. We got some 12th graders, 11 actually all in sequential order. Some 12th graders, some 11th graders, some 10s, some 9s, even some 8th as well too. I'll go ahead and throw a few nugget for 8th as well too to help you guys out with this journey. But awesome, fantastic. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing, what I am typing on as well. Let me know if you guys see that. I'm gonna give you my notes too. For those who are watching me live, I'm gonna drop the notes in the chat. For those of you who are watching the replay, the notes are somewhere on this page. So if you if you want to look up and down, somewhere on this page, you'll probably see the notes in some capacity as well too. Okay. That being said, let's go ahead and jump straight in. So when it comes to preparing for spring 2025, when it comes to the academics, we got to take a step back first and understand why we're doing these things, right? So because when it comes to some theory first, right? When it comes to some theory, when it comes to the admissions process, three factors are really important: the academics, the activities, and the application. As you guessed it, today we're going to talk about the academics part of the journey. And then under these categories, right, a little bigger, right? Under these categories itself, under academics, right, there are two things that are really, really important to make sure you demonstrate and you have in your academics, right? Two things. One is going to be the rigor of your schedule is number one. And the second component is going to be grade trends, right? So what does that mean? So when it comes to rigor of your schedule, colleges are basically looking for, right, how difficult was your high school course load, right? And why is that important, right? Why is this important for admissions to know, to understand about you, right? A little poll in the chat for those who are here live, if you can participate. Is college easy or hard? That's the first one. Is college going to be easy or hard, right? In the chat. And if you want to know the answers or you want to think about it, click pause. But those who are, there you go, people. College is hard, right? College is hard, right? It is hard. And the more competitive the school, the more competitive, the school, the harder the curriculum, right? That's just how it works, right? You're seeing a lot of these top schools, not everyone makes it through. I think last year, 2020, 2024, or 20, I think the day is 2023 though. Between LA and Berkeley, over 1,400 students did not graduate from these schools. Actually got kicked out at these schools as well too, because it is going to be hard, right? I know a lot of us have goals and dreams. Oh my God, I want to go there. I want to go there. But the question is, does your behaviors match, right? Does your behaviors match your goals? And I think that's the big thing as well too. We can't just say, I want to go to the top schools and I don't want to take any hard classes because it's hard. I'm like, what do you think is going to happen once you get there? right? Either parents, you tell them now, or they're gonna suffer once they get there as well too. Or the admissions process will show them that thing as well, right? So your behaviors needs to match your goals. Again, our kids who end up at Ivies, there's no accident. You look at their schedule. Ah, I see why. Kids who end up at top UCs, you look at their schedule. Ah, I see why. So it's not coincidence that they got into these schools. The big part is the rigor of your schedule, right? So rigor tactically, if you're looking at what is that, right? These are like the AP classes, the IB classes, the college courses. You could also even think of like honors, right? Some honors, some accelerate, some school calls accelerate, some school calls advanced, all these different terms for it. It's basically, did you challenge yourself outside and just taking the regular class? Because again, if you notice, I didn't put GPA down here because GPA is not that big of a factor. It is a factor, but not the most important factor. Again, if I told you a little quick thought experiment, if a student had a 4.0, right, is that good or bad? Right? And again, if you don't want the answers, click pause and think about it. But if a student at 4.0, if a student took all honors and got all Bs, mathematically, right? Mathematically, this is a 4.0, right? You get a 3.0 for all the Bs, the honors bumps it up by 1. So you get a 4.0. That is a 4.0. The other 4.0 is if you took all regular classes and got all A's. Oh, sorry, got all B's. Now this one got all A's. Mathematically, right? This is also a 4.0. Can't spell today. Cannot type. Cannot type, right? Mathematics is also a 4.0. So when you talk about GPA versus GPA, doesn't tell a reader too much about who you are, right? So instead, what I look for is give me your class schedule. What class did you take? And the grades that came along with it, right? That's going to be the big one. And you even notice I mentioned the word grade trends because again, the trends is the grade trends. The key word there is the word trends. What we want to do is what happens to your grades over time, right? From 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, what story does that tell me? Let's say you had strong grades, and the key word is strong grades, right? Strong grades means lots of A's, right? At few B's isn't so bad, right? But lots of A's is the key, right? There again, but what about C's? What about blah blah? Again, the more A's you have, the better it is there, right? So strong grades is the key. Can you get a 4.0? Go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But the key here is making sure we have strong grades. The other trend that's really good is an upward trend, right? Upward trend. This is, let's say 9th grade, right? Some of our 9th grade students, they kind of struggled a little bit, right? The shift from middle school to high school was a little rocky for some students, but they're able to accelerate. And as their grades went on, right, their grades went in an upward direction. But their grades went up in an upward direction there, right? That's strong as well, too. So grade trends is also very, very important. So now how does it all relate back to the classes we got to take, right? So going back here, we want to maintain our grades to keep showing rigor. So something we'll plan for is, hey, I want to keep my grades really high. At the same time, you want to up the rigor. Sometimes, however, when I tell this, people are like, wait, how does rigor and trends complement each other? They're usually opposites, right? They're like, if I take an AP level class, it's really hard classes, my grade's gonna drop. The infamous question we get all the time is, should my child take an AP class and get a B, or should they take a regular class and get an A, right? That's the most infamous question when it comes to here, because you feel that you can't have both. You can only have one or the other. What if I told you the answer here is you should take an AP level class and get an A, right? That's the answer, right? No more giving our students excuses to get a B. We want them to get the A, but the question now is how, right? The big question is how. And one of the big things that we like to do in our coaching programs, we like to work smart, right? We like to work smart through this whole process, meaning, can you maximize your schedule with tons of APs and just stay up all night and study? Sure, you can definitely do that. However, is that the smartest use of your time? Again, going back to our big inequality right here, right? Academics, activities, and the application, this is actually not equal. In fact, academics is the least important factor of the entire all three components, right? We want you to spend more time on the activities, and we know the applications can play the biggest role in success. That's assuming the first two are good, right? Is the biggest thing there. As a result of all that, right? As a result of that, we want to not say don't try in academics. What this inequality tells us to do, right? Because academics is less than activities, is less than application, we want to minimize our time in the academics. That's what this means, right? So that's always the key. That's like, if you think of like what's the lever that allows us to happen, is we want to minimize the time. At the same time, though, at the same time, we want to maximize rigor. So again, you want to minimize time while plus maximizing rigor plus maximizing trends, right? That's the thing the leverage you got to pull, right? So how do we actually do this, right? Number one of the things that we teach a lot for our families is how can you up your rigor. So one of the ways you can up your rigor, right, is again, take an AP class, right? It is the easy answer here, right? So I'm gonna do option one because there's actually a few options for you. It's not like do this. This is options, right? So option one, you can take online outside AP courses. So there are programs out there, for example, UC Scout, there's BYU, there's Silicon Valley High School. There's tons and tons of online high schools that do this, right? So I'm gonna look it up real fast. Can you guys let me know if you can still see my screen? I'm going on a different tab right now, that's why. Let me know if you can still see the screen in the chat. Just like yep or yes or whatever floats your boat, but let me know. If not, I'm gonna be just talking and you guys have no clue what I'm saying. Right. So if I look up UC Scout is a curriculum, is basically an online high school taught by the UC system itself. Again, you can go to BYU, Stanford has an online high school. You can look at them. Any online high school that's like credentialed, right? They can offer these types of courses. Essentially, it's an online AP course. It's an online AP course that you can take. You can filter, look by AP courses. And AP courses all count towards any rigor, towards any school. That's why we like that. Could you do a non-AP class? In theory, you could, but it's a good chance it might not transfer, a good chance it might not get you anything. So, and plus, you can probably take like Algebra 1 at your school anyways, right? So you probably don't want to do that. So I recommend looking at like the online AP because we want the rigor as well. These classes, however, UC Scout, how it's set up, you can see how it works. You guys can see it, right? They're self-paced courses. Did I show you here? Any experience? No, they don't explain it. All right, so I'll explain for you, right? They're self-paced courses, meaning you go in, you log in, you complete work, you watch lessons, you do homework assignments, you take online tests, and then at the end, you get a grade. You get a grade for the class itself is the biggest one, okay? So this is the example of one. Look how many classes you can take. You could register for these classes, right? And take the classes. Really awesome if, right? So it's a plus, like do this if, right? Your high school doesn't offer certain classes, right? So if let's say, going back to the list right here, let's say your school doesn't offer APCS, right? You're interested in computer science, and then and hold on to that note, right? There's a thing coming, but you like computer science, you could probably take an APCSP or APCSA at like a UC Scout, right? And then you take these classes. What you want to do, I think, on demand is what you want. And you want there you go. This is the right one, right? The on demand should be like 400. These, just a heads up, right? Should I say downsides or things to keep in mind, right? Things to keep in mind is that these are like, they do cost money, right? So it's typically, I think UC Scout is probably the most affordable out of all of them. If there's better ones, you guys let me know. I think Apex, by the way, is more affordable, but I would kind of avoid Apex unless that's the only option, or if your school recommends it, that's the other, like go for it. But usually Apex that you self-select to do doesn't bode well from a reader's point of view of understand what Apex is. So I wouldn't do that. Again, if your school says take it, then that's a different story. Your school told you to do it, right? But if you had a choice, I wouldn't pick Apex, by the way. right? So it costs money. It's like $300 per semester, meaning for you to get a full year's credit, you need it times two. So it's like roughly $800. There are programs out there, some are like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Doesn't matter, by the way. So I would try to find the cheapest one. Cheapest one that you can is the goal here. Okay. So they're self-paced. So again, the pluses of it is oops, it's gonna be self-paced. You can go at your own speed, right? As well too. So that's always a very fun perk of these here. And that's that. One thing to keep in mind is that with this, all right, they can also prepare you for the AP exam, that you can take the AP exam in the springtime. Again, that's why might do this in spring, because if you can, again, you are gonna double dip, because again, this is meant. Typically, it is meant to do it fall semester and spring semester. But if you're going to start it in spring, you're double dipping, right? You're basically speeding a whole year's class into a semester. That's what that means. Okay. So let's keep in mind that's kind of what you're expecting to do, right? That being said, though, you could take the AP exam in May. Right. The benefit of that, you can take the test, get certain credit as well, too. That being said, also, I am more worried. I care more about you taking the class than the doing well on the actual. Again, best case scenario, do well in both. Take the class, do well. Take the exam, score well. But if you had to pick one or the other, I would recommend that you take the class over the exam. Right. And I remember we had a comment. I forgot who made the comment. It was a comment on YouTube that we made as well. By the way, we have a YouTube channel. If you guys aren't there, feel free to subscribe. I think we just crossed 500 folks. So feel free to join that, subscribe it, make me happy. Let's get to 6, 7, 800 next, right? So the thing is, one of the comments was like, I disagree. AP exams showed you study, blah, 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 which again, I completely agree with that person who left that comment. I'm like, yeah, it does show that you study that too. But that is an intense study. When you're studying for an AP exam, you don't just study all year long without the class, right? If you didn't take the class, you don't study all year long to take it in May. You probably cram. Most students cram, study really, really hard the month of April, like March, April-ish time, and they go really hard for that exam there, right? But if you take the class, it shows sustained studying, sustained like rigor throughout the entire period. That is the key, right? So the key that readers want to see is, hey, again, they're mimicking college. If you were in college, right, you don't just test out of a class. Again, not like some classes you can, right? But most classes you have to take the class too. That's why we like to recommend the class over just the test. Again, could you take the test? Sure. If you do well, it gets you college credit, saves you some units, right? Go for it, right? That's a great option too. However, strategically, going back to our framework, saying what do we want to do? We want to maximize rigor, maximize grade trends. Taking the AP online class hits the rigor, getting the strong grade that you are going to get, right? It's going to help with the grade trends there. And you're going to share on your college apps themselves, okay? So you add that in your academics. You add these schools, by the way, as another high school that you're taking. So for any seniors who are watching this and you're figuring it out on your college apps, right? You're adding this as an additional high school that you're taking. If you're applying for the Common App, they'll also ask you, why aren't you here? I think the UCs might ask that too, but I know for sure that I've been helping students with the Common App this week. So that's all top of my head, right? It asks you, why did you leave? You didn't really leave. You say, I just took this class for this semester for this credit. That's it. There's no, colleges are aware that students do this. So it's not like a weird thing that you're quote unquote leaving the school, right? That's more for like people who move, right? From school to school, you share like, oh yeah, I moved. They just want to know context. The biggest thing is I just want to read is like, I get it. Because again, if I get to talk to you as a student, I can probably pry out most of the things I need to know. The issue is on apps, a reader just sees what they're given, and that's it. Right. So if you don't give us context about things, especially questionable things, we're like, what happened there? Right. So I think that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. Okay. That is the first option. Taking outside online AP courses is one option. Really, really awesome for if your school doesn't offer certain classes. Like, for example, one good example is for anyone who's interested in engineering. So engineering students, right? Typically, a lot of high schools don't offer any physics, right? Not a lot of AP physics classes. As a result of it, you can take AP physics at a UC Scout, for example, and you can go hit the 1, 2 C's and the E's, all the different physics that you can hit, right? Through like a UC Scout itself. Okay. So, and again, not just that, a lot of other classes too, but that's the big one. That's number one. That's option number one. Option number two, right? Let's jump a little bit, right? Option number two, let me introduce one more new concept for you, right? So when it comes to your academics, right? What else are readers looking for? Is it only just maximizing time, maximizing razor, maximizing trend? Not really. There is one more thing that we don't talk too much about. I've slipped it here and there throughout the journey. And again, as long as you follow the frameworks, you are doing this naturally without having me to tell you this. But right, if you guys go to any of our activity trainings, the one core thing we say is do what you love, do what you enjoy, right? And because you do what you love, do what you enjoy, when it comes to major, you're probably doing stuff related to the major that you're interested in as well too, right? So a lot of that basically is naturally you're exploring things in your field. One more other thing that we want to demonstrate to the readers here in the academic section as well is a concept called love of learning, right? Love of learning is a concept where colleges want to see, are you a nerd? Are you a geek? Do you get excited about these academic things itself? Because again, when you go to college, they want you to geek out. They want you to nerd out on the topic that you're wanting to study, right? That people who are really passionate about their certain fields, you know, they're gonna do the same thing at their school as well too. So that's gonna be one of the big ones, right? Again, how do we demonstrate love of learning is like just going the next step, learning more about that. So our tactical recommendations usually when it comes to activities is what do you like to do? Let's do more of that thing, right? And that's pretty much it. But when it comes to an academic point of view, there is an easy way to register per se as well, right? So option two, love of learning. Specifically, right, skills development courses as well too. So what are these, right? So these are the classes that you see, if you guys have heard of like the Coursera's, the EDX's, open courseware, right? These are online classes that you can take in a certain field to expand your knowledge of a particular sector. So let's look it up real fast. One more time, right? EDX, you look at EDX, you see online courses as well, right? There's like 4,000 courses, right? So basically, these are pulled classes from a lot of colleges. You see from Google, tons of really awesome stuff. London, Amazon, right? So tons and tons of schools here. So then, what you want to do? You want to search up kind of categories that you're interested in. Let's say, hey, Coach Tony, I'm interested in business, right? I'm like, cool. Let's look at business, right? And we search, and there's a bunch of business classes that you can take as well. To here we go, courses, right? Looks like show courses, tons and tons of courses that you can take taught by really, really awesome schools as well. Sometimes, by the way, let's say, for example, I click on this MIT one. This one is free, right? It starts on October 3rd. It starts today. So if I click on this, if I click enroll, it's going to have me sign up. And everything. I don't have an account with them right now, but I sign up and I'm learning it as well too. You'll see that it's a 6-week course, also self-paced, and it's free, right? The optional upgrade, by the way, is to get the certificate. Pro tip: don't do it. This is not. It's not worth. I think it's $300-400. Save your money, buy yourself a nice dinner, right? Don't do that. Again, you can do that. That's not saying don't. If you want to support the business, it's a business. Support the business. However, the certificate means nothing. So if you get it, doesn't really transfer anywhere, doesn't do anything. The idea you took the class and you went through all the activities and you passed the class or finished it. Again, these classes are passed on pass. It's not like letter grades. Think of it, it's called like auditing a class. So in college, you go ahead and audit certain classes. That's kind of what this format is. So you can go ahead and do it. One cool perk though of these types of classes is number one, they're usually taught by the professor at that school. So like at MIT, this class, I bet you, if you look into it, the professor at this school of like business is the one teaching the class, right? Going back again too, if you're interested in Wharton, right? If you're interested in Wharton, the business school, right? UPenn as well too, and you take this class, you may hit a UPenn professor as well too. And like this is like thinking a little bit ahead, right? When you guys mention, when schools ask you the why us prompt, how cool would it be that you said you had an interest in business and you took a class from this professor and that ignited your interest and you did more XYZ stuff after that as well too, right? So again, One of the things that if you were able to join, we had a recent call. We had like a roundtable with all of our, not all, a lot of our top coaches. And one of the things that we mentioned, Coach Sarah mentioned on the call, was demonstrating interest in the school, right? Demonstrated interest in colleges, right? This is some public schools don't do a lot of this, is because there's too many students, but a lot of like private schools, a lot of smaller schools definitely consider this as part of their criteria. How much more demonstrated interest can it be than taking actually a class from like a professor at the school here too? Okay, so that's gonna be the big thing in this area, is that these classes, right, the perks of it is that it's free, right? Again, there is a paid certificate you can buy. The tip is don't do it as well too. Yeah, just take yourself out to dinner a few times nicely and then you're good there. It's free. It's taught by professors at top schools as well too. Again, they're like pass, non-pass, right? So you don't have to stress out. If you don't finish it, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Again, look how many people signed up for this class. It'll tell you too. Like 73,000 people signed up to this class. How many of them do you think is actually going to show up all 6 weeks? Not a lot, by the way. I'm gonna be not a lot, right? However, what's like, but here's the thing also, right? Here's the real pro tip when it comes to these type of stuff. Again, you're not buying a certificate, which I again don't recommend you do, but what do you do with it then, right? So number one, you can definitely share it, not only share it on your apps. There's gonna be a section for other coursework you've done. You can share that there. However, the key is not just the key here is doing more than just the class. Okay. A lot of people think I'm just taking the class and I'm good. I'm like, no, not really, right? This class, in theory, because it's free, anyone can take the class. Anyone can go on and take, again, we have over 116 people here, right? Any one of you can go on here and sign up for classes. We can take, quote unquote, take the class together. So what's so special about all of us? Nothing, right? The key is doing more than a class. What if, right? Here's the what if part. What if I am interested, I'm saying, in actually let's do entrepreneur entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneur, right? Tons and tons of trainings and courses on entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurship and entrepreneur as well too. Let's say I watched several of these, right? I read about several of these, and after watched, attended these courses. What if after example, right? Took the entrepreneurship classes, and then I opened a small business of my own, right? I took the classes, I took the knowledge, and now I'm applying it as well too. A lot of you guys are interested in like AI, right? AI, boom. How many AI classes are there, right? Tons and tons and tons of them. Here's a Harvard class. Here's a Google AI class as well too. IBM, tons of these things, right? Again, learning it doesn't do much. So you can learn it. That's cool. Awesome. I've taken CS50 is one of their most famous classes of all, by the way. Harvard CS50 is like everyone has taken that class as well too. However, taking classes is kind of useless. What I would do is I would go through these classes and then I'd be like, as an example, right? Took AI classes and then I built my own AI platform, right? Or AI tool, for example, right? What if you're interested in what's another field? What's another field in let's do language, right? Let's do language real fast. Oh, let's turn off AI. Oops. Right? So, okay, we see like there you go, languages, right? Oh, there's a basic Spanish class. What if I took actually let's do Italian. Italian's pretty non-traditional. A lot of schools have it, right? So I could oops, learn Italian. And then I went ahead. My parents, I knew I was, and I did it because I know we're traveling to Italy, right? So a family vacation to Italy where I translated for everyone. Italy, where I translated for everyone. Or I started a pen pal program with Italy high school kids over there as well too, right? So again, The first part, what you learn, by the way, if you do this also, there's also like Duolingo. Duolingo is another really awesome site. It doesn't have to be just these sites, but like the idea of learning, again, love of learning. I just want to learn more and geek out, right? Does this have to relate to major? No. Pro tip again, right? Does not need to relate to major, right? As well, it can. Again, I'm sure what you love relates to your major too, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be related to your major itself, right? That's gonna be the big thing. Okay. So that's the first two, right? So the one is take outside courses. You can take it on online high schools. Number two, love of learning to explore stuff. There's also YouTube. YouTube has a bunch of courses now. There's something called LinkedIn Learning. That's another site you guys can learn. There's tons and tons of these that are like free courses to kind of build your skills up, right? Number three is my personal favorite. If you guys stuck around, you guys are in for the good stuff, right? So number three is kind of one of our core pillars of our coaching program is that there is a way, going back to the what's important, right? There is a way for us to minimize time, maximize rigor, maximize trends, and demonstrate love of learning all in one, right? How is that? Our coaching students know. Dual enrollment, right? So what is dual enrollment? Dual enrollment is as a high school, as a high school student, you're dual enrolling, meaning you're enrolling in two schools, right? At your high school and local community college, right? Could you take an actual college instead? Like we have some kids who went to like a state school, a UC, a private, take classes. Yes, those are dual enrollment as well too. However, you're paying a lot more money at those schools in the community college in the sense of working smart. Could you just do the same experience? Or let's take back. Is the experience the same? It's gonna be a little different, right? Again, these schools are a little more 4-year-y, right? And stuff as well. You might some of them has to be on campus as well, too. So different experience. But at the end of the day, the big thing we're aiming for, right, is to minimize everything. And if we can minimize costs for parents out there, if you can minimize costs, community college, if you had to pay for it, right? I said that in a tease away, right? If you have to pay for it, it's way cheaper than a 4-year school or private school after that. Okay. So when it comes to dual enrollment, really quick in the chat for those of you who are here live, is anyone here? What states are you guys in? What states are you guys in? So I can go ahead and cater this a little bit and see if there's multiple states. We can try to do multiple live examples really fast as well too. What states are you guys in? So I can kind of poke around and show you guys. We have California. A lot of us. I'm based in California, so I assume it's a lot of California families, but there might be other states too. I see a lot of Californians though. All right, if there's more schools in California, you guys let me know in the chat, and I'll give you the step by step how you do that as well too, right? So if you're in California, this one I know really well because most of our students are in California, right? What you want to look up is keep in mind that not every community college. Oh, no, going back. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So basically, what we're doing is that we're taking classes at the local community college. Why do we want to do that, right? So community college classes first, right? A few perks. Number one is only one semester long. Some schools are 1 quarter, like a lot of the Bay Area schools, like De Anza, I believe, or Diablo Valley, one of those two schools. San Diego, some of your schools are quarter-based, like college schedules, right? But majority of high school of colleges are semester, so half a year one, half a year the other. If you're in quarter, there's like fall, winter, spring, 10 weeks each is the thing, right? One semester there. Typically, by the way, for you guys, a little fun fact, one college unit, because you'll see that when you take classes, they're in units. This class is 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, for example. One college unit is equivalent to 3.3 high school credits, right? What does that mean? An average college class, go to your catalog, your class schedule, you'll see that a typical class is 3 college units. Doing some math here, that's approximately 10 high school credits. Anyone know what 10 high school credits is? 10 high school credits is 1 year of high school. So by you taking a 3-unit class, it's equivalent to taking a full year of high school. So number one, this alone, you're cutting down your workload in half. So instead of taking a whole year, it's only half a year. Perk number two, right? Perk number two, right? We mentioned earlier, we want to maximize rigor. We want to maximize the rigor on our schedule. So basically, we want to take honors approved courses, right? On our schedule, honors approved courses. A little sneak peek, little spoilers, right? Later, I'm going to do a training on how UC admission readers evaluate UC applications. One of the things is that how do we track this is when you share your grades, we see your grades or your classes, your grades, and the honors distinction, yes or no. Spoilers again, right? AP and IB and dual enrollment all get the same check as well too. So knowing that, if I know that they all get the same amount of check, this one is half a year and I get the same credit as the full year. That's interesting, right? Again, for those who comment, but blah, blah, blah. So whole year class. Yes, readers are aware that the AP is a full year class. But, right, quick glancing, it's that as well too, right? It's number two. Number three, just like the honors AP courses, a lot of dual enrollment classes can be online and also asynchronous, right? Self-paced, synchronous. Can't spell, right? And asynchronous, right? Self-paced classes as well, too. Ever since 2020 shut down all the schools. Schools had to pivot. They all went virtual, so they all have that system set up. They're not going to get rid of it. So they're still just using it as time goes on. So a lot of these classes are also offered online. You don't have to, back in the day, I tell students you have to actually go to the college campus and take your classes. Now, no. You can take your class anywhere you want during lunchtimes, evenings, weekends, right? Whenever you have free time, that's a great slot to stick in your dual enrollment classes there, right? Another perk of dual enrollment itself too. Parents, you have probably heard your students complain, right? About this teacher is so hard, or like, I'm scared to take the class because the teacher is so hard. So instead, right, with colleges, you can pick your own professors, right? You look up the schedule, which we'll do a live example, by the way, in a bit. And by the way, for those in California, if you want to be part of the example, drop a name of a community college in the chat. And in a bit, I'll pick one of them to do the live example for. You get to pick the professors, right? What's the benefit of it? Because when it comes to professors, some are easy and some are hard, right? Is the thing. So what you want to do, we want to find the some are easy ones and take it. If you take the ones that are easy, better likelihood you get a stronger grade. You guys are starting to see how this kind of matches all together now, is the biggest thing. And last, probably coolest thing of all, right? AP exams. What is the AP exam itself? The AP exam is you take a test, it's out of 5 points, by the way. I also throw in IB exams because I always neglect the IBs, right? AP exam is an AP class out of 5 points. IB exam from an IB class out of 7 points. If you get a 3 on the AP, that's passing. 5 on the IB, that's passing. But if you get a 4 or a 5 on the AP, 6 or 7 on the IB, that could qualify you for additional college credits, college units. Keeping in mind, right? Not every 3 score, AP score will get you college credit, right? You might get credit that you passed the exam, but when you go to that school, you won't get it. Again, every school is different. You have to look it up. Look up if you're bored, AP, the college college, AP validation, any college you want, look it up. They'll tell you exactly, here's every AP you can take. Here's all the scores you need to get credit. Some of them are cool at 3, but you'll see some of them need 4, some of them need 5, right? That's why you gotta be careful for. However, right? And you get hard test, right? However, why our AP class is hard is it's trying to make it hard like a college class. That's their justification. We're trying to make it hard to prepare you for college is their thing. When you take a college level course at dual enrollment, right? These are hard like a college class, right? Any dual enrollment class is a college class. There is no need to be like a college class because it already is a college class. Meaning, right? Meaning, if you take the right class right? There's a really high chance that the class is transferable to a lot of colleges, right? A lot of colleges as well too, right? Depends on the schools. Of course, some schools will say no. Some schools have different policies as well. But the big takeaway here is that good chance. And even if it don't, like, again, assume the worst. Assuming your school doesn't do it, this hits the rigor. Going back to the thing, right? Going back to the thing again, right? Where's the thing? There you go. Minimize time. This is half a year compared to a full year. You're maximizing rigor. It's a honors level course, right? You're maximizing the rigor there. You're maximizing trends because you get to pick your professors. You can greatly increase your chance of getting a thing. Love of learning. How much of a nerd can you say you are if you're going to the college and taking classes as a high school student as well, too? Wow. One thing that hits all these around. So let's do that live example. You guys can see how it is. For those of you who are not in California, do this with your same exact thing itself. Okay. So how to do dual enroll step by step. By the way, if you're watching this right now, this is actually like live. You should do this for yourself this week, next week, because it's happening right now for you all. Okay. So in the chat, ask for colleges. I see Chafee. Let's talk about Chafee, right? So Chafee College first. Step one, identify your community college, right? Is the first one. So our example today is going to be Chafee College. I'm going to look up Chafee College. All right, is there. Number two, you want to look up the transfer articulation for your state. If you're in California, right? California, it is called the IGETC. If you're in any other states, you have your own keyword too. Like I think Illinois is IAS, Washington, no, Oregon, OHE. They all have the different letters, right? And as well too. Basically, you want to look up the state transfer articulation. It'll come up with a page, and you match that page with each of the community colleges, and you'll find it, right? But for California, it's pretty simple for you guys. It's called IGETC. So on Google, I'm going to search up college. So I'm going to look up, for example, Chafee College IGETC, right? So I'm going to look it up. I'm going to show you live. I'm looking it up. First, usually it's the first link. What you're looking for is a table, just like this, right? So what you want looking for is a table of classes. Again, this is for California, by the way. Areas 1 through 6 or 7. Some schools have 6, some schools have 7. Eventually, they'll all have 7 because they're adding ethnic studies as a level 7. Just is rolling out slowly, is all, right? So area 1 7, that's that. All the other states, by the way, it's a little different. Like I know Illinois, I just talked to them, that's why I back top of my head. There's like 4 sections there. New York has a few. That's like batches of classes that they'll let you take. So every state is a little different. So again, correspondent, but ideally what you want to do is look up IGETC at the school. Again, this is the transfer articulated classes at the community college to their state schools and a lot of private schools as well too. Okay, so I'm looking at these classes right here. What I recommend, number 3, regardless of your major. Okay, so this is the big one because everyone said, Coach Tony, but I'm on this major. I'm like, that's cool, right? Do you know you're gonna be that major? The answer is no. Did you know 80% of students switch majors in college? What's the point in taking a class in high school that you know you're going to statistically switch to something else and that class might be useless? That's why we don't have people take major related classes, right? There's other ways to do it. If it fits nicely with our recommendations, go for it, but don't feel like you have to force it to your major. So regardless of your major, engineers, computer science, bio, physics, chem, environmental science, business, entrepreneurship, history major, journalism, film majors, whatever major you want to do for California, for IGETC, start with area 3 or 4. Right, area 3 is gonna be your arts and humanities. Area 4 is gonna be your social and behavioral sciences as well too. Right, any class counts. Whatever class you want, I do not care. Right, pick whatever class sounds good to you. For a lot of our coaching families, we like to recommend art, music, theater for area 3. For area 4, we like to recommend anthropology, psychology, sociology. Like I said, if you are an art, music, theater, anthropology, psychology, sociology major, it might double dip right now, but don't feel like it has to be that, okay? But you'll see, I recommend this, but if you look at Chafee's list, there's a lot, right? Chafee has a bunch of classes. There's art, he has the art, I don't know, this art history class, cinema, music, theater, photography, history, Arabic, Chinese, English, psychology, sociology, political science, history, economics, geography. Those are those and a lot ASL. So tons and tons of classes. Oh, there's business law, right? As well too, right? So all these classes here does not matter which class you pick, right? Just pick the ones that sound interesting to you. That's gonna be the big keys. Pick the ones that sound interesting to you is the most important thing. Okay. In this example, I'm gonna follow my logic. Let's look at let me pull a different page I can see because I can't see it do the same time. Oh, all right. So let's look up. So I'm looking it up, and then so I'm gonna see the first art class, right? So art 50, I see music 4, I see theater 1. For area 3, area 4, there's like anthropology 2, apology 2, there is psychology 1, there's sociology 10, right? So all the numbers are different for every single school, right? So these are lists that I think might be cool, right? For me, right? Again, pick whatever class you want though. That's not one. Then you want to, next step, look up the class schedule for your school, right? So I'm gonna go Chafee college class schedule, right? As well too. Now I click here and then you'll see that registration is November 4th. So those of you who are near Chafee, you have a week to get ready because starting next Monday, at the time of this recording, starting next Monday, you can start registering for classes, right? And again, you'll find out, you get an early taste of college, that classes that are very, very like favorable, easy teachers, classes that are required, just like these, they fill up really, really fast. So the sooner you guys are on top of this, the easier it is for you, okay? So I'm gonna look for the schedule of classes here. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna search up the classes that I mentioned, right? So this is the spring term, and then I'm gonna look up Art 50. Let's look at Art 50 first. So I'm gonna look at Art. Course is 50, right? Do a search. Once I do that, there's one, oh, there's a class I'm looking for here. Oh, there's a requisite, means there is a class that they do recommend before. It's not required, but they do recommend it. So again, could I do it? Maybe. We'll see, right? Again, we're just open right now. And once I click it, I look at them. In this school right here, it looks like this class requires in-person meetings, right? And the in-person meetings are Tuesdays at 9:30, Wednesdays at 12:30. Uh-oh, I'm in school, friends. So I probably can't do this one, right? Because again, I'm in school. Perfect. Next one. So I go back. I look, what's the next class I can do? Music 4, right? So I'm going to search for spring music 4, right? Search for there. There's the class. Click here. Now, here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 classes that's offered under Music 4. The difference, let's find out. Some of them have different start and end times. This one is the first 2 months, from January to March. This one is from February to May. This one is from March to May, right? So you can see that in some of this is January to April. So the times are a little different, right? So the shorter it is, the more accelerated the class, the longer it is, just the more time you get to spend in the class as well too. Next thing I know is you have the classes are all online. They're all online, which is awesome, right? That means these are most likely asynchronous classes that I don't have to actually show up at a certain time. And if they do, they'll let you know, like, this class is 6 p.m. or whatever time. So you have to show up, right? But these are all good. So my last step that I'm going to do, I'm going to look up the professor. So the website you guys want to look up is called ratemyprofessors.com. I mean, actually, I'm going to filter by class dates, right? Is one. Then I'm gonna look for online versus in person, and then I'm gonna look at the professor, right? That's kind of the order I usually go into, right? So class, I say class, then dates, then blah blah blah, right? Ratemyprofessors.com. I'm gonna go search at ratemyprofessors.com. I'm gonna type in the school name here, right? So the school name is we're at Chafee. right? Chaffee, right? Chaffee College. And then, right, let's go back to the class. The first teacher, his name is Aranda, right? I look up Aranda. Oops. Aranda right here. And then Patrick Aranda. There might be multiple teachers, so look at that their first initial. P. I'm pretty sure this is the same like Patrick. Click on Patrick Aranda. What I'm looking for is a few things. Number one, look at the rating distribution. You want a lot of 5-star reviews, right? Is number one. Number two, look at their overall score, right? You want it as high as you can. Number three, you want to look at the difficulty. You want it as low as you can. And then the would take again, you want it as high as you can, right? So one more time, you want the rating to be disproportionate fives, right? You want the score to be as high as possible. You want the difficulty to be as low as possible. You want the take again ratio to be as high as possible, right? That's gonna be the thing here. So this person, and also read the reviews, right? So this teacher here, decent, right? It's okay. Good, like first one I looked up, right? I looked down. You can see the reviews. Look at the ones at the same class. This one right here, do not take a class. Uh-oh, that's probably not a great sign for the very first one, right? Workload's ridiculous. Beginner class, it is not, blah, 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 right? Next one, awful. So far, two of them have been really bad. But again, I'm only looking for like music 4. The music 4. Music 4. So in theory, this is the one that's probably fairer, but still do not take. So far a lot of bad reviews so far. So I might, and the good ones are a long time ago. You see the dates? The good ones a long time ago. So I might want to skip this one. Let's go to the next teacher, right? Look at next teacher here. Next one's Kahau. What a cool name. Kahau. Matthew Kahau. Right, Matthew, not a lot of reviews though, right? Not a lot means they're probably a new teacher, so you don't have a lot of things to talk about, but right, a lot of 5s, score is pretty high, would take against pretty high, difficulties, that's okay, right? You read through, again, the first one is no, too much homework, super strict, hard to pass. The next one's opposite, good, fair as well too. Again, what are we looking for in these words, guys? We are looking for this professor class was easy. That is the magical words that I'm looking for. So far, haven't found it. Let's try next one. Anglim. And Glim as well too. Keegan and Glim. Holy moly, only one. So this is kind of unbiased because it's biased because only one person, so I wouldn't trust it so much. But so far, the best one so far, right? It's the best one so far there. Let's go next one. Aranda, we already saw them. Is it Fager? This is okay, right? Difficulty is pretty hard. I'm gonna skip them because difficulties are really hard. Man, I'm trying to find an example of a good one so you guys can see what that looks like. There's a few mans. Oh, Sylvia man right here. A lot of 5. Oh, all right. It's not too bad. All right, so this one, not a lot of reviews still, right? But a lot of 5s. And the other ones are 4 and 3, so it's not bad either. 4.6 out of 5, that's pretty high. 86 take again is pretty high. Difficulty 1.3. Scrolling down, music 4, the class we're looking for. This person got an A plus in September, which when they just took it. This is like a recent teacher, right? Enjoyed, nice, passionate. Each week has a thing. 1 quiz, 1 concert. I was nervous, easy, and informed. There's my magical word, guys. It was easy. Next one, patient, passionate, wants you to learn, exams, pay attention to understanding. You can get an A, do your work, great teacher, take on. So sounds good. Great feedback, take notes, turns active, conductor, learn a lot. All right. Easiest A. Easiest A. Took blah, 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 as well, too. Grateful, great professor. So far, you guys, this is my favorite so far, right? So easy A plus. Holy moly. How many words easy? Very easy to pass. So if I was a student and you are in Chafee right now, by the way, oh, this is this is the hard part. This person only has 5 slots for their class, which I think might be a typo, an error, because that's not a lot of students. Yeah, it's not a lot of students at all. So you bet they're gonna probably fill up as fast as possible. But let's say you find the class, right? Once you find the class, look at classes, right? Once you find the class, what you need to do now is find the class code and get your high school counselor's signature, right? So the class code you'll see for this class with the man right here, the class code's right here. Music 4, not the music 4, that's the class, is 36874. Class code here, section 36874 is what we're looking for there, right? So I would give that. Cool thing, 0 textbooks as well too. Ooh, they even have, this class even prefers high school students. How perfect of a class is it for us? Primary enrollment designated to high school students. Man, what a good example you guys picked, right? So this person, I would push this really, really hard. For those of you chafy, go fight for this class. See which ones gets it, and let me know if you get it, right? So then you want to find the class code, and you give it to your counselor. Your counselor has to sign off it. Your counselor or the principal, right? One of those two have to take, because you're a minor. You gotta do that. So that's that. Once that's said and done, majority for you, right? These dual enrollment classes are typically free. You don't have to pay for anything. Your high school is going to pay for it for you, right? If you have to pay, right? It's roughly $50 per unit. So this class right here is 3 credits, 3 units. 3 credits, units, is equals to 50 times 3, 150. This class has no textbook. They'll tell you too. There's no textbook. Some colleges have textbooks that cost money. This one is free. Because it's free, 150. And that's it, right? Compare that to, again, going back here to number 1, your online AP class is 800, right? 800 for the AP class that you have to take a test too. So you haven't even factored in the AP exam either. But with this, and here's the last big perk of dual enrollment, right? We're back to the perks now. The perks, if you pass a transferable course with an A, a B, or a C, you're guaranteed the college units. No matter what, you're guaranteed that will transfer over, because guess what? Spoilers, right? Spoilers. In college, your first 2 years are these GE classes, which is what the IGETC is. So you're basically just doing what your first 2 years are, okay? That has been the takeaway for this one. I highly, highly recommend. Again, a lot of you guys, I know your dual enrollment is already open. So jump on that. That's going to be the big thing for you guys. It's either open or will be opening very soon. Our coaching families, this is what we're going to be having you guys do the next month to get you guys making sure. I would recommend at least 1 class. Some of you guys have been doing this before. Maybe 2 classes in the spring. You can probably handle it too. By the way, if you've gone through it, you'll see. But that's gonna be the big thing, right? 1 or 2 classes, and then that's gonna be your biggest takeaway for this next semester. Okay. Before we have a few questions I saw in the chat, but before we do that, a little quick in case we have some new friends here. Our coaching families have been working with us. But if you're new and you're curious, you're interested in a free coaching call, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in the chat. Go ahead and tap there. Book a free 15-minute session with one of our advisors. They can give you some feedback, some recommendations. They won't sell you anything on that call either. They're just going to give you some tips, some feedback. And then at the end of the call, if you do want to work with us, you let them know. They can schedule a second call. They can talk about our program services at that time for you. Okay. That being said, let's go ahead and answer some quick questions I see here. I have 2 minutes before I have to wrap up. I have another call at 6 o'clock. So a few questions here. Number 1, if you don't pay for the certificate, how do you prove you took the class? Amazing question, right? So the answer is on your college apps, right? You self-report everything, right? So you say, I did do this. I did take this. I went this as well too, right? That's it. That's all you do. Again, same thing with your volunteer hours. You just say, I did X hours. That's it. You don't need signatures. You don't need this as a way. So the biggest thing is you're saying, I took this class and it is, and the readers will acknowledge, they will say, okay, you did it, right? That being said, there is a percentage of students that will get audited as well. Again, you don't have to pay for the certificate's not the thing. It's the learning. Again, in life, do you have to prove you did everything, or hey, I did? No, you just gotta learn it. And if you can speak the speak, if you can, that's why again, going back to the certificate, the self-learning class, I don't even care about the class, right? Again, that's the first part. The main thing you do here is do more. So that even if you did, let's say you skipped it, you lied, right? You lied, you didn't do it. As long as you took that knowledge and you apply it, that's going to be the more important thing here. Okay. Next question I see. Can I just give exam and not join Scout? I believe I answered this question earlier today. Again, you can. However, right, the class demonstrates the rigor, which is what we're trying to achieve in this whole process, right? But could you just take the class? Go for it. If you pass the exam, you get college credit. Kudos to you, right? But in terms of which one plays a bigger role in the admissions process, test score is just a test score. Some people are terrible test takers, but a class demonstrates your proficiency over time. Okay. Can you recommend where to take asynchronous math for higher and higher math sciences? When it comes to math, dual enrollments is usually it. Calc 3, linear algebra, and differential equations. If you're past that, which I've seen like a handful of kids, rare though, really rare. If you do it, then I would go even to the 4-year colleges and ask them for more math after that. For the comes to the sciences, I would do online AP, right? Is what I would do, like UC Scout for this one. Is the biggest thing there. And after that, go into hands-on stuff is kind of the next evolution of these things. Okay, cool. That's all time. Sorry for the rest of the questions. I'm going to slide in my DMs. I'm going to help answer for you. Coaching families, drop in Discord. We can help you guys answer it there as well. Okay. With that being said, let me go ahead one more time. Subtle pitch. If anyone is interested, if you're watching the replay of this, the link to book a free sessions, again, somewhere on this page, probably down here, most likely, right? Go ahead and tap that, book a free coaching call with our team. You might get me on the call, and I'm happy to jump on and give you some feedback, okay? Have a great rest of your evening. I'll chat with you guys soon.